Hi Woodfolk, my name is the Metagoblin and today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 Witcher 3 mods. Now the Witcher 3 mod scene is obviously not on the scale of Skyrim or anything like that, but there's definitely a few out there that are definitely worth checking out. Most of the mods are quite small, fair enough, but you know, you're not going to see like huge content mods for the Witcher 3, but these small mods can sometimes, you know, they're like these little tweaks which can have a gigantic effect on the game and make a world of difference. I'll be covering quite a few of these mods, a lot of different mod categories instead of just talking about graphic mods like most of our videos do. You will find mods for The Witcher 3 on the Nexus, just like you do for Skyrim, and you can also install them with the Nexus I keep saying mod wrong. The Nexus mod manager, so it's pretty easy, fairly simple to install them. But anyway, let's jump in. So the first mod I have for you is quite an overhaul. So yeah, you can call it an overhaul mod. It's definitely, I think personally, it definitely improves the game, and it's called the Better Combat Enhanced. A lot of things have been reworked in the combat system, a lot of little different tweaks. It makes the combat like extremely more balanced. There are a lot of things in vanilla Witcher 3 which can become incredibly stupid and overpowered. There's one thing I really do like is that there's no requirement for any of the perks. You know how you have to kind of like have like 5 points in the attack perks, the red perks, to go further down in the tree. Now you can just literally just get any perk whenever you want. There will be perk changes, more different perks added to the game. And I think, yeah, a lot of the perks have been either buffed or lowered just to make the game a little bit more balanced. But what it basically allows you to make like a more hybridized custom build. You know, I felt that, you know, unless you can have like a level 70 character, you can't really mix things up a bit. And even at level 70 you can't really mix things up a bit. Well, with this mod, you're going to be able to mix things up quite a lot. You know, you want a bit of magic, you want a bit of sword skills, you also want to mix up with a few useful alchemy perks. You can probably mix things up, which is definitely what I like most about this mod. Second mod is not another, well, it's not an overhaul mod, but it will change the game quite drastically, and it's called Random Encounters. And what it's going to do is it's going to add dynamic encounters, you know, when you're travelling around the world, you know, just to keep things interesting. Like, most of the time you only find monsters in caves, and the only monsters you really see out in the world are like drowners and the ghouls, and sometimes you find some bandits. But with this mod, it's going to make travelling around the world a little bit more interesting, because you're going to see more of your favourite monsters. You know, you're going to have like random boss battles just appear out of nowhere. You know, rather than you having to do like specific Witcher contract quests to see a certain boss monster, you're actually going to see them in the world, which is pretty cool. And the mod is very customizable. You can change like how often it occurs, how many and how big each like pack of monsters that you randomly encounter. You can basically change, like, if you want an army of monsters attacking you, or you just want a few. So yeah, this next mod is, you know, it's more of a gimmicky mod, I guess, but I definitely think it's worth going on this list because it is just so cool. And it's called First Person mode. Somebody has basically made a mod where you can observe the game in first person mode. It's definitely great for a more immersive view of the game. You can basically turn it on whenever you want, and you see the game in, you know, it's a completely different way. And I think it's just worth doing now and again, you know, when you're walking through Novigrad or you're walking through the countryside, just to turn first person mode on when you're travelling around between quests, just to add that little bit of immersion and make it just a little bit cooler. It obviously won't work for combat and stuff. It will, you know, because that'll just be mentally, it'll just be mental. And but the mod will definitely like smoothly switch between first person and third person, you know, when you need to be back into third person for combat or something like that. So yeah, it won't be like a pain in the backside to twiddle things around. It'll just do it for you. Fourth mod I have for you is a convenience mod. One of the annoying things about The Witcher 3 is, fair enough, it wasn't on the scale of like old school Morrowind, where you have absolutely no fast travel and you can only travel by going on those flying alien things. But yeah, you could obviously fast travel through the signpost. Sometimes it was kind of annoying because you'd have to travel to a particular signpost before you could actually fast travel, which is kind of annoying. So it's just like that journey you've already done before. It kind of got a little bit boring. But with this mod, fast travel from anywhere, you're going to be able to fast travel, well, from anywhere. I think like you should have been able to do that in the game, like anyway, to be honest. But yeah, you won't obviously be able to travel to anywhere on the map. That'd be a little ridiculous. Just like if you're, you know, you've just finished a quest somewhere, you can just fast travel to a signpost from your location, from any location. A bit like how the boats work. Like you can just travel when you can jump on a boat. You can fast travel to any port. Yeah, and just remember, don't do it during like any quests though, because you might break the quests. So just be sure for watch out for that one. Fifth mod I have for you is it's basically a scaling mod, which is going to make the kind of like the scaling of a game a little bit more like Skyrim, and the mod's basically called enemy scaling. And the problem I found was that the low level zones and the quests became like a little bit of a face roll, and I did want to go back to those quests because, you know, obviously I mean, the quests in The Witcher 3 are just like phenomenal. All of them are really interesting, but when you went back to do those old quests, like it'd just be too easy. There wouldn't be any challenge, or you wouldn't get any XP from killing any of the monsters. And really, you just have to like do the quest that you missed on a new playthrough, and I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to do everything on one character. There is a setting that doesn't alter. Like, obviously, you don't. What I don't like about Skyrim scaling system is that when you don't encounter monsters too difficult for you, like apart from the giants like walking around. And a thing great about The Witcher is how certain levels, zones are scaled, and certain bosses and quests are scaled. I do like that. There will be a setting that you can change so it doesn't alter the creatures that are at a higher level than you, or the bosses. They won't scale down to you. Nothing will scale down to you. It's just that the low level mobs will scale up to you, and that basically makes it completely perfect in my opinion. There's no RPG that, well, maybe there is an RPG that does that, but I think that's like the perfect way that scaling should work in an RPG game, and you can do it with this mod. Next I have a mod which basically goes hand in hand with that enemy scaling mod, and it's basically going to be a quest scaling mod called, for some reason it's not in my script for some reason, but I have it on my browser. It's basically called Always Full XP 1.31, apparently. It must be different versions. Anyway, basically what I really hated about doing, well, just like I said, doing those old quests, the quests that you've kind of out-leveled, even though they're really great quests, you want to do them, and then you'd finish them and you'd get like 1 XP. I mean, that felt kind of crap. And this will change how grey quests work. So basically, like when you see grey quest, you've out-leveled that quest, it will give 50% of normal quest experience. I think you can rack that up to 100% if you want with the settings. And yeah, I think it's just it's a great way to make those old quests still relevant to your gameplay and not make them like completely redundant, because yeah, I mean, the quests, like I said, the quests are amazing in The Witcher, and you don't want to just have to play like a new save to experience quests that you've out-leveled. It was kind of frustrating for me. For number 7, I do have a graphic mod, even though I said I wasn't going to make one. You can slap my wrists if you want. The reason why I'm featuring this graphic mod is it's not really about the graphics. It's not a graphic improvement mod, and the mod is called Atmospheric Nights, and nights, like, yeah, I think I said that right. What it does, I think it kind of, it's not going to like improve the graphics. What it's going to do, in my opinion, is it properly captivates the Witcher universe more accurately to the books, just with a little lighting fix. It's going to make the nights darker, and just generally a little bit more terrifying. And there's like, if you look inside, like if you go inside an inn, the lighting's going to be more realistic. There isn't just going to be a random light somewhere. You're going to find that when you go into an inn, it's just going to look so much cooler. It's going to look so much immersive, because the fire in the room is first of all, it looks better, it looks more powerful, but like the room in its entirety is just like a little bit darker. It just looks cooler. It doesn't make the room look like a 21st century room when you have lights on. You know what I mean? It's gonna look like there's a fire in the corner, which is your only source of light, and then when you're not close to that fire, it's gonna be really dark, just how it would look in a medieval setting. So yeah, what else do I have on this script? Yeah, it's also gonna make the lighting, like the fire effects, look just like a little bit brighter and more vibrant, just a bit more colourful, which I do like. Makes a fire look more alive. And yeah, for number 8 we have a quest revamp mod. It's going to be called All Quest Objectives on Map. Very, very inventive name, I must say. And it basically it's a complete rework of the quest system. It's definitely going to make the interface, it's basically a completely new interface. Looks completely different. It's more clear, more cohesive, and just generally, I don't know why I said in such a weird way, and it's generally basically clear. It's easier to understand when you look at it, that's what I'm trying to say, and it just makes it look a little bit less of a chore, you know, when you're looking around. It's going to have all your quests on the map, so you don't have to keep checking them on and off, which is another cool thing. And the icons have been completely reworked, and you're going to see quests that you haven't got yet. You can change that if you don't want it. You want to be, you know, the game to be more immersive. If you want to find quests manually through the notice board, but it will have a little silver icon, like faded icon, where there are quests to get. So, you know, to be fair, you know, if you already played through the game, you just want to be kind of bothered, like trying to find out the quests you've already found by pressing Shift Tab to go onto the, you know, onto a browser and look things up. Then, you know, this mod is just going to help you out. But to be honest, I wouldn't recommend it on a first playthrough. There are settings, there's like a lighter version, so it doesn't show everything. So yeah, just look at the mod, look at the kind of version you want to get, and yeah. For number 9, this mod it's not a combat. It does change the combat, but it's only like a visual change of a combat. It's not going to change statistics or anything like that. But it definitely makes the combat more realistic, and it's called Ultra Gore 2. Basically, you're going to see a lot more severed limbs, a lot more blood and organs and all that great stuff lying on the floor. So if you're into that, if you want your game to be a lot more gory and realistic, then I would definitely get this mod. And lastly, we have the mod called Increased Creature Loot. It does what it said. Sometimes, you know, the loot felt a little unsatisfying on mobs. You know, you defeat this really big boss and you only got like a brain, like a monster brain or something. You're like, okay, I can use that for crafting, but really I want some bloody gold. So it's going to add some like gold to like big boss battles. You're going to find, well, you will find gold in a lot more mobs. I mean, obviously, you know, monsters eat people. They may have a chance of eating gold, but if you don't think that's a realistic thing, then, you know, don't get the mod. And you're just generally going to find a lot more loot for crafting. Like sometimes you'll kill a monster and have no loot, and you're like, well, obviously that's kind of like stupid. I mean, I'm looking at our monster, I'm looking at body parts I can sever from this creature for my crafting, and the game's telling me that they're not there. You know, it's worse as some of those bloody Barons quests. Oh my god. No, the worst one is Shimmering Flats, when you have to kill that scorpion about 20,000 times. Well, you'd have to literally have to kill this scorpion about definitely like 40 times to get like 5 pincers, like scorpion tails, when you can obviously see that the scorpion has a tail, and even though you loot it, it doesn't have a tail. So yeah, it's just going to remove that kind of crappy thing that games have. And yeah, anyway, that is the end of this video. Remember to check out the video link in the description. I apologise for my voice being a bit nasally. I do have a bit of man flu at the moment. But anyway, check that video link in the description for similar videos. My name is the Metagoblin, and until my next video, ciao.